How's my mic level for you guys?
Oh, it's actually pretty great, man. And we're live. Here we go. Yeah.
All right, we're back.
Hey,
We're good. We're good.
yes,
We're going.
sir. Hey, everybody. Coming soon podcast. Of course, here's sPidA being joined by the great Lee Waddell, my man. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me in. It was kind of last minute, and we pulled it off, and
Uh,
here we are. Because trying to get schedules, my schedule is super busy right now. I'm really blessed to be all over the place, and you know, the time it worked out, it was great. So thanks for having me
no,
on.
no, for sure, man. And of course, my our host Braxton, he couldn't make it. We were waiting earlier, man. He had a prior engagement, so it's just gonna be myself. But he did
Yeah,
want to jump on here. He's a big Scream horror fan. I mean, fanatic, man. So he missed out, but we'll definitely bring you back later on. We'll invite you again and get you on. But of course,
yeah.
man. I mean, when it comes to a stunt actor, I mean, you have been retired for how many years already?
I think the last time I probably retired out and actually started, getting fat and lazy, probably somewhere around 2000. I think 2016, 17, someplace there. I think the last time I was working film wise, I just got done doing a little bit part acting wise, but stunt wise, I think it was around 2015. It was an X-Man. I think it was last big chunk of work I did. I might have done a little stuff here and there, but that was my last major run, was back in 15. So I've been hanging out since then and kind of just loving life. And then this 25th anniversary thing popped up last year, right? Remember that?
Yes,
And
sir.
some really cool guys kind of drug me out of the woodwork and went and found me. Not like I'm hard to find, but they're like, "Hey, come on out and do this thing." And there's a lot of people that want to meet you. And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, sure." And and here we are. It's such a blessing to be a part of the whole horror scene, Scream Nation, and
Yeah.
all this cool stuff. And because at the end of the day, I mean, I still am a horror fan. I started my watching horror with my dad on his lap. I mean, I loved horror from the get go. So to be part of it at this point in my life, it's just really super cool. And of course, the people like you and everybody else. I mean, I've never had a bad time doing a convention with horror. It's just a big old love fest out there, right? Everybody's got that cool vibe, and everybody's just laughing and loving. And it's a really cool scene to be a part of.
No, for sure. I mean, because like you mentioned, I mean, myself, I grew up watching horror from the '80s. With my pops. Watching reruns of The Twilight Zone. Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh
And of
yeah,
course, so it's all about nostalgia, man. So when we make the events ourselves, I mean, we can't help but enjoy them. You got to be happy and remember all these different movies we all grew up watching. But let me
no,
ask you.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, it's generational.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, Scream One is 26 years old, I guess, 27 years old now. But uh, you know, I remember when Halloween came out. It's 45 years old this year, right?
yeah.
Look at that franchise. I mean, how many movies does it have? 12, 15, something like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
still rolling.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see how generational horror is. Like you and me, we started off watching on our dad's lap, right? And then my kids like horror, and then I'll meet grannies, grandpas, moms, dads, kids, grandkids. I'll see 2 or 3 generations, even 4 generations deep, talking about horror and having me sign stuff. So it's a family generational affair. At least
No,
that's
you
what
see,
that's cool.
and I gotta ask you, like when they drug you out and brought you to a convention, and they were like, "Hey, people want to meet you." Would you surprise how many people they want to meet you?
No, yeah, even to this day, I'm so humbled by that. It really blows me away that how many, you know, crazed, and when I say that lovingly, crazed, rabid, and I call them the Scream Nation, as you know, right? And to me, they're the ultimate Scream fan, horror fan. I love the Scream Nation fan, and yeah, it still blows me away to this day that these people are going to come by and have me sign their stuff, and it's really cool though because we get to have this little engagement and talk a couple of minutes if the lines aren't miles long, and I have time to really spend with people individually, which I really try to do.
No,
And
no, sure, yeah.
they get to tell me how I wrecked their childhood. It's like, I saw that movie and I didn't sleep for a week. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It's like, oh yeah, and I showed it to my daughter for the first time, and she was terrified, and da da da. It's just really cool. So yeah, it's amazing to be a part of it, and super blessing. And I don't take it lightly. I mean,
Yeah.
these people work, this might be their whole thing for the year. They save all their money up. They come to these horror cons and get tons of, autographs, and I love it, and I'm blessed to do it. And I don't take it lightly. I mean, if there's a line and they close the doors, then let's take it to the parking lot. I'm one of those last man standing guys. I'll go
Right.
into it. Yeah. If we're out in the parking lot sailing on the signing on the tailgate, okay, we're having a parking lot party. I'm not cutting out early. And if there's people that want my autograph, then by golly, I'm going to give it to them.
No, for sure, man. You see, and that's one of the things I've noticed, because a lot of I've been going to a lot of conventions. I mean, here locally in Texas, in general,
Right.
and a lot of the attendees, the people that are out there showing up for these guests, it's pretty cool because it's respectful, and a lot of them do like yourself. They kind of like, hey, well, you know what, they're gonna close, but we can go over there and I'll sign autographs, take photos, and they do it because it's kind of like it's. There's that relationship that kind of bonds everybody at that moment. And it's kind of like, man, you know what? I mean, I feel like I grew up watching you, this actor, I've seen this guy. And it's just like, it feels, there's a bond, it's a pretty cool bond. And, it's like, you got to respect it, you got to enjoy it. I know you can't, there's times I'm sure where you're somewhere and, somebody's like, hey, I want an autograph, and it's bad timing, but for the most part at a convention, why not, just make a little bit extra time and get those last minute photos and autographs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at plenty of cons where we've had to where the convention center is basically, hey guys, we got to close the convention center. It's not because they don't want to kick us out. I'm like, all right, we're piling into the lobby. Everybody, let's go have a lobby party, right? Go pile in there. That's cool. And then we get kicked out of the lobby. I'm like, okay, well, let's go to the front bench. Let's hit the smoking section because I'm going to have a cigar. And we're going to keep signing and just hanging out, right? So, yeah, it's been my experience. And it's really cool because everybody in the Scream cast, Matt and all those cool guys and Nev and everybody, they're in it for the long haul. They love that. They love being a part of this. And man, there's, like they said, those guys, last man standing. They don't care. They will go all night if that's what it takes. And it's really cool to be a part of that crew and that vibe, and be alongside those guys and girls, and to have that. As much as the fans love us, we love those fans, and that's what it's about.
No.
So look I know you're in Texas. I'm out in SoCal right now. I'm sitting in the studio. I'll be back home here just in a couple of days. You're going to come out to Horror Film Fest, right?
Yes, sir. I actually had the poster. I'm going to post it up right quick just so those watching can see it. But of course, I mean, this is going to be the Houston Horror Film Fest, August 11th and 13th. Now, you will be there all 3 days?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go down and absolutely crush it. And that's a cool one because I'm gonna drive. I'll just probably jump in the pickup truck and drive down there for that one.
Okay. Yeah, you see, and then have you been to Texas before? I know you've done conventions, right?
I've never done it. Believe it or not, I've not done a Texas con in my home state. I'm based out there. I love Texas. I mean, love being part of that. I've been in Texas for almost 10 years. But yeah, the schedule's never lined up just right to where I could actually be down there, because we got Houston Horror Fest, didn't we just have a fan thing down there last weekend, right?
Yeah, it was the Fright Fest.
Yeah, there you go. There's some pretty heavy hitting cons down in Texas.
Man, it's getting better. I mean, here locally we got like 3 or 4 that keep popping up, and I mean, I love it because every month it's like 2 or 3 conventions, and it's just.
Yeah, I love those. Those little pop-ups are really super fun.
Oh yeah,
I love if I'm not working, I'm actually have the time to go hit those pop-ups. Love those things. And you got to remember, I'm a horror fan just like you, right? So I'll go down there and I love hitting up the vendors and seeing all the cool stuff that those super artists.
Yeah,
and supporting those guys and girls, and love that. And I do that a lot.
You see. And I'm sure when you see these vendors, I mean, every time I go to one of these conventions, the vendors always make the guest a gift. I mean, not always, but they bring, have you ever received something that was so cool that just kind of stood out from everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I got tons of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
In the studio. It's just, and they're like, hey, we made this for you. And it's as much as I appreciate that on a personal level, these guys and girls have taken a lot of time to create that really cool piece of art, which is very special to me. So there's pieces in here that I won't ever get rid of. Not like I do, but the mask I might buy and sell and trade a little bit, depending on what I want to put into the collection. But the one-off artwork that's a personal gift, those always stay. Those never go. And then not only top of that, but from a little bit more of, I guess, a business application is if somebody, like I do a lot of co-branding and a lot of collaboration. That's kind of what I do. Me and a gentleman by the name of Sammy Ruiz, you can find him on Instagram, the artist Sammy Ruiz. He did a great Texas Ghostface Longhorn.
Nice.
It's up on my Instagram, so you'll see it. And we did that just for Houston, just for the Houston horror, right? That's a one-off thing. You know, we're not really per se selling it. Sammy might, but it was just a one-off for that con. Just because I love being Texas, and what's Texas, man? We love our flag, right? And we love our Longhorns.
You gotta fly it up, man.
Exactly. So, you know, doing those collabs like that, and it's really cool. And I like that. I like that section, that vibe, you know, of supporting those local artists and doing really cool collaborations. Yeah. And it's, you know, from the business side, it's a symbiotic relation because it helps them get that word out. And then if I can sit there and support them and boost their sales, or at least, you know, exposure, cool. I love doing that.
No, for sure. Because I mean, it's they help you, you help them, you know, kind of thing. So it works out, you know, because I mean, as collaborators and business owners, I mean, we want to get the word out. So why not have you guys advertise it, man, or promote it? You know, makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's good for the vendor at a local level. It's great for the con at a national level. So everybody wins. You know, people are like, well, how come you do that? I'm like, well, you know, rising tide floats all boats. You know?
Yeah.
And if it makes a better event con level, right? More butts are through the doors because we're talking and hyping and pushing, and those vendors are selling more product and making it happen. And of course, then they're making money. The con promoters are making money. You know, I had more people coming by, giving me love, having me sign stuff, taking selfies. It's a win across the board, and the fans have a better experience.
Yeah.
So it's a no lose proposition. So why wouldn't we collectively as a horror family, as a Scream Nation, support each other, help each other, spread the word, and just have a big old love fest like we always do at these cons? You know, it's always laughing and loving and telling stories and signing babies and kissing posters. And, you know, we had a great time.
And of course, and I gotta ask you, because of course that iconic part where you actually had to perform, you actually had to kill Drew Barrymore. I mean, of course, I mentioned it was in character. How many takes did that take?
We did it in one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think we did that. I think the actual part when I ran her down, we did that in one, and then we might have done for coverage, right? For a different camera angle, for a different coverage angle, we might have. I think I might have done it one more time, and then for all the other inserts. So we didn't do anything outrageous. Everything was done by two. Usually it's a one take. I love being that as an actor and stuntman, be able to go, hey, boom, we did it in one. And then if the director wants a second one, by all means, let's do that. But yeah, most all that stuff was done in one take.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was just, you know, first night, first shot, first scene, first everything was shot in sequence, which was never, very seldom does that happen, and we were blessed enough to do it. It was really cool to film that way.
No, for sure. You see, and one of the things when I first saw the movie, because I did see it at the theater, Drew Barrymore was a big name. I mean, the fact that they killed her off quick, I mean, kind of left me in awe, because I was like, man, well, who's going to survive this thing then? You know, because
right, remember that? So, you know, and Drew, of course, she's crushing it now. Look at her now. She's magazines and makeup and animals and shows. I mean, I say it lovingly, she's Oprah 2.0, man. She's just killing the game right now. I love to see that success. And she's such a sweet, sweet person. I mean, she's just, you know, you see what you get. And she's really a cool, great person. So, yeah, so think about it back there in the mid 90s, right? Here we are shooting in 95. She's a pinnacle. She's the quote unquote movie star, right?
Yeah.
And man, bring her in. You're expecting the whole run of the whole film. She's the mainstay. When you whack her in the first 5 minutes, big time record scratch, right? People just hated that and loved it at the same time. They're just like, you know, because they didn't know what to do. I'm like, I can't believe she just got killed. What, you know, we're 5 minutes in. We still got 5 minutes. And so it worked out really well. But that was the genius of Wes.
Yeah, you see, and when that was filming, did you know that? I mean, were you did they give you like the script, and they're like, hey, she's gonna be first to go?
Yeah, I had looked at the script, but mainly only from the scenes that I was involved with
Right.
in the sense, right? So, we're sitting there that first night of production, and I'm sitting there with Wes, and he's giving me the direction and giving me the kind of the character of Ghostface and how to play it. And, and I had worked with Drew on a couple of shows before that, and that was fine. And but I don't think if she actually ever saw me. I know that she didn't see me in full costume wardrobe prior to that night, and so when I started, when her and I started working together, I was already in the full wardrobe and costume and boom. So she just crushed it, and what can I say? It's an iconic opening, and I'm super proud of that work. And here we are.
Oh yeah.
27 years later, talking about it still, right? So hey.
And by any chance, do you guys still keep in touch?
No, not really. I mean, you got to remember, I'm a working stunt guy, and
right
at least back in that point, it was just like I did my, I don't know how many days I was on the show, 2 weeks, whatever it was, and I did that, and then I'm off to the next show. I'm just a working stunt guy, and her and I never really crossed paths out of that. So I'm hoping one of these days that I'll get to do that again with her.
Now, and of course, I mean, being a stunt actor, because you had to perform a lot of acting when it came to, was there ever a movie that you tried to get on that you didn't get because of a scheduling conflict that you wanted to kind of work on?
Yeah, maybe. I can't recall of anything off the top, but there were some big shows that I wish I could have been a part of, just because they're big, epic, big shows with a lot of stunts, a lot of rigging, and that kind of stuff. But in my stunt career, there was a couple of shows that I couldn't go from one to one to, because they're like, hey, we need you for a day. I'm like, no, I'm locked in over here. Yeah. Or I'm like, oh, I'm already scheduled for a day, and I know it's going to cost me a week work here. But I always honored my work commitment. Yeah. If I knew it was going to cost me 3 to 7 days over here, I still would have honored my 1 day contract, because I signed up for it. That's my job. Boom. And I did that a couple of times in my career, but that's how it is. And the same things with cons, right?
Right.
Sign up. I'm already obligated for this one. I know this one's bigger, better,
Right.
But they signed up first.
No, for sure. And of course, when it comes to conventions, because you've been, I mean, after you came out of retirement, basically, I mean, you had to go back to work, but you're enjoying this, right? I mean, you get to meet people and.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I work about 3 days a month. It's a beautiful thing, and I love it. I love being a part of this. And as long as I'm having fun, I'll keep doing it. And I'm having a super blessed year right now. I'm just slammed between now and the end of the year, right? That's why when you and I were talking real quick earlier, like, hey, let's go quick, man, because summer's here, and from July, August, I'm full throttle. I don't really have a lot of time,
No, you see, and I was going to ask you, when it comes to scheduling, I mean, do you kind of give yourself a month off, or are you like, hey, let's book one each month, or as much as possible?
I try to grab as much as I can, in the sense when it's offered to me, right? Because like, why would I want to sit there and go and deny somebody? Yeah, I got 3 weeks, and it'd be nice to have a week off, but big deal. What am I going to do? Deny those fans just because I'm being lazy? God, I'll be lazy later. I'll sleep on the day. Let's go have a party right now while we got it. Because
exactly.
And I'll fill my if it was necessary. That'd be great if it was, so to speak. I would have a con every weekend if I know I could get to the fan base and be with the horror crowd that I love, right?
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm not complaining. My dance card is full. Before I'll do a shameless plug for all my good stuff coming up here before we part past today. But like, just to give you an example, August, which is not far away, right?
Right.
I got Chicago first weekend. I got Houston down there with you the second weekend. I got Denver Crypticon the third weekend.
Nice.
I think I'm off the fourth weekend. And then we're in September, and I'm something. And then actually I have a tentative scheduled live podcast at another HorrorCon that last weekend, but nothing's been inked. So it's penciled, but we'll see. So really, that's August, right? So there's 3 out of the 4 weekends.
Yeah. You see, and that's the thing, because my my mindset right now also, I mean, because we are a podcast, I mean, we are here in Texas, but I'm looking to fly out after July. I'll be July. I'm planning to be in New York for a convention out there. I'll be back here, of course, home, and then August I'll be hitting up to as far as cons, like here locally in the state. But I'm hoping, maybe I'll see you again, man. I'm going to be traveling out there, so that'd be pretty cool to be able to. I tell people if I hit the lottery, man, I'm going on tour. I'm gonna be like a circus, traveling state to state, just covering as much as possible, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's addicting. It's fun. Um, yeah, so just stay in touch. I mean, you have access to me, so just stay in touch. Let me know you're going to land. And plus, I'm pretty good at my Instagram, trying to keep my schedule updated for everybody because there's a lot of people that fly by, check out where I'm going to be, and then and I try to keep all that stuff pretty current on social media so everybody can find out what's going on. And it really helps me too, because unless this stuff is written down, I have it in my phone calendar, my Google calendar. Unless it's like in front of me, I'm like, I gotta check, because you're like, hey, what's your September schedule? I'm like, busy, but let's look.
Yeah, see exactly what days, huh?
Yeah.
And let me ask you, when it comes to social media outlets, I mean, did you evolve with the technology over the years, man? I mean, was it hard for you to get on Instagram and plug everything in and figure stuff out?
So I'm a really private person for the most part, which is counterintuitive for what I do with horror fans and cons and everything, right? But that's my job, and part of that job is to have that social media presence, so people like you and I'm almost 5,000 people right now on my Instagram, which is great. Super blessed to have that. I didn't have any idea that how cool is that? So I didn't know it was going to get that big. And so like Instagram is my only social media, because Facebook, and I don't want to slam it, social media, but like Instagram is still user friendly and it's still accessed quick, and you can get media up there. Facebook, I use Facebook to keep up with family members at best. Right. I don't have a Ghostface presence on Facebook. I could do TikTok, but why? And a lot of people, you can do TikTok. I'm like, yeah, but TikTok's vertical formatted 30-second infomercial at best. Yeah. Not, and on top of that, everything always ties back to Instagram. So Twitter doesn't count.
So that one died, bro. That one's still out there, but man, I just crickets. I still use it, and the same thing. Everything from Instagram runs to my Facebook, goes to my Twitter, goes to my So Instagram
it's for all sure tied in, and and everybody in the horror scene is so tied into each other. It doesn't take much to get the word out.
Right.
Because somebody following me is going to follow you. Somebody who's following you is going to see me. However, it's just, and it's cool because you can really push a lot of fun content out. Yeah. And get it out there to the masses and keep them informed where I'll be or what's going on with your podcast and all these cool things.
No, for sure. And let me ask you, I mean, when it comes to being retired, man, I mean, have you been working on projects though? I mean, not stunt related, of course, but I mean, have you been working on films or any other projects?
No, not during my film retirement career. Doing the haunts. I just did a quick little bit part on a horror movie called Night Butcher 2. They brought me in just to play a character, which was cool. And they're like, "Hey, want to come out of retirement and get in front of camera?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'll be fun." So we sat down and did some dialogue and banged it out in a day. And it was a fun experience, and it was cool to hang out there on the set with everybody. So that was fun, and things like that are great. I love doing it. So if those opportunities come up in the future for fun stuff, absolutely. Somebody's doing another sequel or doing another movie. They're like, "Hey, you want to come over and just do a character bit?" Or, I'm still up for physical acting. Don't ask me to get hit by the car. Ask me to drive the car or fall off the board, the bar stool. Yeah, we could probably still pull that off. I'm not that fragile yet. So.
And let me ask you, when it came to being a stunt actor, I mean, what was there ever like an injury that was pretty severe? I mean, pretty bad that you got banged up in?
Yeah, I've been stretched out a couple of times. I mean, I've never been, hospitalized.
Right.
Pretty limited on my hard cast. But there was a few of them in there that I got roughed up on, and it's funny because it was always small stuff. There's this like saying in the stunt industry, it's always the little ones that get you.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's like I went through this breakaway window one time. Easy, right? All you got to do is step up on the crate, go through the window, out the other side, and that thing tore me up. I mean, it looked like I looked like I wrestled a chainsaw and lost. I mean, it just beat me to a pulp, and I was cleaned myself up, and man, I got home from that day and I was like, what the hell happened? Like, I don't know. It was just a window. It was easy. I could walk through it. And it was just like little things like that have always been how I got dinged up in my career. I can't remember what Jean-Claude Van Damme movie it was, but it was one of them way back in the day, and I got blown up. And it wasn't like a big blown up thing. It was like somebody blew up the trash can, and that was fine. But when I fell, for somehow or other, I didn't get my hand out of this is going to fall on my face, not a big deal. And my hand was like somehow got center lined on me, and I just separated everything down one side of my sternum. And it was my fault. And it wasn't like a big heavy stunt. It was just one of those things. To this day, I don't know how I couldn't get my hand out of the way, but it just knife edged me and just ripped me in half. And I was like, man, that one hurt.
Damn.
So, and what are you going to do with a bunch of separated ribs, right? You just got to suck it up, and you can put compression on them to let them heal up a little bit. But otherwise, you got a few days of being really uncomfortable.
No kidding, man. Because, I mean, the show must go on. So you kept working, huh?
Yeah, I was really old school like that. I would just get off set, put myself together, and come back to work if necessary. If not, if I'm like, okay, I got a week off, let's just go get out of the way. Ice and Advil. See, like that, I do not miss those days at all.
No, and I can only imagine, and that's one of the things, because myself, I was a postal employee here for 15 years. And when I first started, I mean, we were like, they used the word workhorse. They were like, man, you're a workhorse, man. If you break a leg, I can't use you. And that mentality stuck with me. So it's like for years after leaving, and I've been in retail, and I'm a contractor now. But it's like if I hit myself or something happens, I keep going. I finish the job, I go home, and then I'll cry about it later. But it's
I'm old school like that. That's how I was, and still am, really. I mean, my biggest injuries now are from playing pickleball or something stupid like that.
Actually, it was like a few weeks back, man. I actually stretched over to get the remote, man, and I actually hurt my shoulder. I was like, damn, like for like 2 days, I was hurting.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like I said, Ice and Advil. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
No, not at all. But my man, I mean, I want to thank you, bro, first and foremost, for jumping on here. Like I mentioned, I mean, we are the Coming Soon podcast. Braxton Smith couldn't jump on here today. But after your schedule, if you ever get some more availability, man, I'd love to bring you on here. But Houston, we'll be out there. We'll definitely greet, take some photos.
Come on by Houston, and then hang out down there, and we'll get together and at least snap some selfies or something like that, and post them on that. We'll have a good time there. And then, my schedule's full throttle. So I got Chicago, Houston, Crypticon, Denver. Got this cool little. Have you heard of this place called Haunted Scream Expo? It's in Virginia. It's in September.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pop out there. That'll be the first time I've done that con. Never, those guys reached out and like, hey, come on out. I'm like, yeah. And I guess that's quite the festival, because it's just, it's got mazes and costume contest and food, and that was like a real cool party. So I'm really excited to be out there and talk to those guys. What am I doing on the West Coast? Did you come out to the Creep Icon in February?
No, I didn't make it out there.
Oh man, that was a fantastic con. Those guys they sold out. I mean, it was that good. So I'm gonna come back out to SoCal in September and do a really cool event with them. They're gonna do a 16 millimeter screening of Scream 1, the 96 version.
Nice.
And that will be the first time I've actually seen that movie done in film, and on the big screen since probably the debut, the grand opening, which was 96.
Look at that, man.
Yeah, so I'm all excited about that one.
No, yeah, I mean, you should be, because I mean, it's like one of those things. I mean, before I started doing this, I started doing the combat sports podcast, and I still run it. So, I cover a lot of mixed martial artists, boxers,
Yeah, yeah.
kickboxers. But a lot of them too. Like it's funny because a lot of them, the first fight that they fought in was the first live event they ever attended, and I'm like, man, that's mind blowing. You know, it's just, but it's kind of cool. But my man, I mean, of course, I mean, I hope to make it out there. I know in Denver, I might be at that one also. I'm still looking forward to scheduling, see if I can make it out.
But yeah, CryptoCon Denver. Like, there's another one I haven't done. I've never been up into Denver at a con and play up there like that. So this year, I have a bunch of cons in areas that I hadn't had a chance to play in a lot. You know,
Nice.
towards the end of the year, I'm going to go back up to the Northeast up there with Monster Mania, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know what number it is. I think it's 57 or something like that. But that's going to be a huge one because like the whole gang's. I think Nev's going to be there.
Yeah.
And Roger L. Jackson. Like Roger Jackson and I, we've never signed at the same time.
Well, okay, so that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, to have he and I, so it's really the two OGs, right? He was on set that night when I was working, right?
Oh man, okay.
So we didn't get a chance to. We didn't really get a chance to talk and hang out. I think we met each other, but he was working, I was working, you know, and so it's been forever since Roger and I have crossed paths. So this will be the first time that he and I actually ever signed together and probably seen each other in 27 years.
Look at that, man. Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. That's pretty cool.
That's going to be pretty epic. You know, that's going to be a one-time thing. So there's going to be like 6 of the Scream team up there, and I get to be a part of that. How cool is that?
No, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of surreal because it's like how many years, and then finally you're like, man, we worked together years back, and now we're here again, man. So that's going to be pretty cool.
And then I think we do rinse and repeat and head down to Mad Monster down there in Atlanta and do it again. So I'm full throttle. There's some stuff coming up in October that hasn't announced yet, so I can't say anything about that. And
looking forward to it, man.
There's one in December, which is going to be like up in the, middle of the country, way up north. It's Comic-Con. Can't say the name of it, but you can figure it out. It's in December.
Yeah. No, I know, man. I mean, my whole year, like even events are already planning for next year, and I saw that, and I was like, man, really? But I mean, everybody's getting ready. You know, they're booking it what they can, and with guests especially. I'm sure now, like so many people are like, man, I want to get this guy in here, and like you said, first come, first serve.
Well, yeah, and like I said, it's first come, first serve. Super blessed to do it. Humbled, honored, and it's like I said, it's my job, so I don't take it lightly, but I have a lot of fun with it. So
No, yes, sir.
If I sign on the line, man, you're going to get the whole, original Ghostface Lee Waddell experience. I get to, I push it. I push my promoters. I push the vendors. I push myself because I want to have a grand time, whatever we're doing. I don't care if it's a 1-day or a 3-day. We're going to have a party. I want the Scream Nation out there. I want to be there. I want horror fans to be there. And we'll just get up there and tear it up and laugh and love and tell stories and take.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, that's going to be memorable for everybody that's going to be in attendance for sure. Because, like you said, it's been years. Especially having that many cast members. It's going to be an awesome, epic time.
Great. We have a beautiful. My schedule. My dance card is full from August on. I'm so blessed to be a part of that and just be able to say that. So, and then you're right. It's come about September. The phone will start ringing again, and we'll start booking for the 24 tour season. Who knows what that's going to be like? Because I think Scream 7 is going to be spun up here pretty soon. They're going to get in production on that.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure, but I'm sure you've seen 6, right?
Yeah, I love 6. 6 was fun. It was. And even if the brothers were here, here's my only ding, or if you hadn't seen 6 by now, too bad you're gonna get a spoiler.
Yeah,
they just put. It was a great formula film. Loved it all the way through. It was a great Scream movie, right? I really liked the stunt guy that performed Ghostface because he brought the edge back to it originally, which is what Wes's initial, concepts were to me. He was a phantom. He moved with purpose and direction and quickness. The stunt guy Max up there out of Canada did a bang out job on that. That kid did great. So it was fun to see that character portrayed in a vision that was what Wes wanted. So love that. And then my only rub on that is, I know you've seen 6, obviously, right? Yeah. There's a couple of the characters right there towards the end that absolutely they were leaking like a sieve. They should be dead. And at the very end, they're like walking around like it's a flesh wound, or on the gurney just like talking, and I'm like, no, don't put a bow on it. So I think they put a bow on it so they could get into the 7 and make it easy. But for me personally, I'm like, why don't you have them barely hanging on for life and let the viewer think about that for the next 2 years while you're putting 7 in the can? So that was my take on it. But what am I? I'm not a director, so what the hell? But fun movie. I enjoyed it. I'm glad it did great at the box. I'm glad 7's coming. I'm very thankful for the way they portrayed Ghostface in this one. Yeah. So I like it. It's a big win, and I'm a big fan of it, and the franchise at large.
No, for sure, man. And of course, 7, man. I mean, I'm curious to see which angle they go, which direction. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to get, people from the old cast to jump on there and just make cameos. I mean, as far as the survivors, of course. But
I think that there's chatter about bringing Nev back. I'd love to see that happen. I think she's she's a common thread through the whole thing, right? She's been with them all. So her and I think Courtney Cox are the only 2 that have done them all, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'd love to see her come back in. Selfishly speaking, I'd love to be a part of it in some capacity. I don't know what that would look like or even mean.
I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm sure, especially with the momentum you guys have been getting at these conventions, fans are going to talk. So I'm hoping they throw that in someone's ear, and who knows, be great to see.
It'd be really fun to go in there and do an acting spot, or stunt acting spot, or even go down the road of having. It has had multiple Ghostface, so maybe they could put me in there with my walker, but in a Ghostface costume.
We never know, but I hope they go in the right direction, and we'll see. We'll see. If there's going to be an 8, and 9, and 10, or if this is it. We'll find out when it comes.
Well, I'll tell you what. As long as it's making money, Hollywood will never get rid of it. I mean, like I said, Halloween's 45 years old this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Old Jamie Lee's still bringing it, and so good on her. And there's one of the cons that I will be going to as a horror fan. Right, man. They have their big 45th anniversary convention. I think it's in Pasadena, California.
Yeah, it is in California.
Yeah, so that one I'm going to. If I'm in SoCal, I will be going to that as a horror fan, and I'm just going to go out there and geek out, and
Oh, nice, man. That's cool. I can definitely dig that, man. Especially if you go out there and mingle and just
I just want to be a horror fan. If I get recognized, great. If I sign something, great. I just want to go there to be a part of that whole scene.
So now you get to wait in line and actually wait for an autograph, right?
I have done that before, and I'm not opposed to that. That's I'm nobody special. I'm not going to sit there and go through the back door and cut lines and stuff. That's not the way I am. So if I got to wait out there in the rain with everybody, cool. Let's just wait out there in the rain. And even last time I went to a convention out there in Southern California, I had to wait in the rain out there for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And we would just start yakking with the people in line and people walking by, and it was all family and friends and horror, and it was a great time. Even though it was a long wait, you're still talking horror, right? We're still talking movies, and so it was a great experience.
No, for sure. Because even myself, like I go out there and I'm able to interview some of the guests while they're out there at the cons. But a lot of times, like I have to wait in line to get a photo, or when I'm in line, I'm talking to other guests, and I'm like, oh man, what are you getting autographed? And I geek out, like you said, because it's cool that everybody's getting into it, man.
Yeah, and I don't, I'm nobody special. I just do what I do, and I still love making movies in a sense, and I still love horror. And, I like being a part of it.
No, for sure, bro.
How cool is that?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna keep doing it till I can't do it no more. That's for sure.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I got a lot of old stunt buddies and actor buddies that are still doing the con game. Like old Dick Warlock, man. What are we? Dick's in his 80s now, and he still crushes it.
No, for sure. And my man, and of course, man, and I know you got another one coming up, and I don't want to rush this up, but I want to thank you. I mean, like I said earlier, I want to thank you for jumping on this.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to go ahead and lock this off, but don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, of course, once again, Lee Waddell, the original Ghostface, sPidA here, the Coming Soon podcast. So next time, follow up.
Peace, everybody.